Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be continuing to part 4 of What If Goku Wasn't a Saiyan. If you haven't seen part 1, there is a title card where you can go check it out and see what happened in the last part, but we'll be going into the continuation of Z. How will they stop Frieza? If they do stop Frieza, what is next for the Z fighters? And how will Goku keep growing stronger? All of that and more will be answered in this video. Also, if y'all are interested, I own a Discord server for anyone who wants to join and talk more about Dragon Ball with me and other viewers. Maybe give us some of your own ideas of what ifs, and maybe in the future I could do them. Check the link in the description down below. Without further ado, let's dive into part 4 of What If Goku Wasn't a Saiyan. Where we last left off, the Z Fighters, with the help of future Trunks and the Saiyans, eliminated the threat of the androids, but now their next focus is on taking down Frieza. But that is much easier said than done. What is good is the fact that future Trunks has some experience against Frieza's final form. The Saiyans are interested in hearing this, with hearing how powerful Frieza could be. Having a power level of 5 million would not be anywhere near enough to stop Frieza. Vegeta would then talk about the legend of the Super Saiyan, saying that that's their only chance of beating Frieza. Most of the Z Fighters agrees, as a lot of them think they are reaching their peak limit, but none of them are stopping their training, still wanting to see if they can grow stronger. Mr. Purple would show Bulma the ship that Kami has, as she would begin working on it with some input from the Saiyans. Future Trunks would also spend time with Bulma, as now this is technically his mom since his future is destroyed, but he does still keep up with his training. Even if Bulma finishes the ship in a month, everyone keeps training, still thinking it's not enough. After a while, the gap in power begins to show, with the Saiyans being top 3 strongest, with the only 2 who can barely keep up is Piccolo and Goku, with Piccolo having advanced regeneration for Kaioken, and due to the recent fact of him fusing with Kami, making him the strongest at the point. And Goku with his new Monkey Boy form, and even with him being weaker than the Saiyans, Goku's unique fighting style makes up for it, as even the Saiyans struggle to fight against it. The Saiyans would use their Ozaru forms, but Goku has experience with fighting his own monkey form with just his fist. It was easy for him to take down the Ozarus except Vegeta's due to his overwhelming strength, and Goku and Vegeta would grow a rivalry bond, and Vegeta has huge respect for Goku, being just a human, and being able to keep up with the Saiyans. Eventually, everyone would train hard together for a year before thinking that they are ready. However, none of the Saiyans has yet to unlock Super Saiyan. Here are the current power levels. Yamcha, Krillin, Tien, and Gohan are on the power level of 2 million, with Gohan being the strongest of the group. After hearing how the future timeline played out, he was motivated to train more, as this Gohan would be more into fighting rather than schooling. Future Trunks would be at a power level of 5 million, Nappa is at 7 million, Goku and Raditz are at 8 million, Vegeta is at 10 million, and Piccolo remained around 20 million, as he was more helpful for the others to grow stronger, but not himself. Goku, Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz each have a transformation that can boost their power levels tenfold. Goku could be the strongest in a short burst when he combines his Kaioken with his Monkey Boy form. Everyone knew that they all couldn't leave the planet defenseless, and just in case that they failed, there would be fighters on Earth to make a backup plan. So for the fighters who would go to fight Frieza will be Vegeta, Goku, Future Trunks, Raditz, and Piccolo. They head off to space and stop at a random Frieza planet they could find and begin taking down Frieza's soldiers. Kui would be there, as Vegeta would end Kui easily. They would take out everyone rather easily and would just wait. Frieza would get contacted about the return of Vegeta and the attack on his planet. Frieza would get furious over this and he would head over to the planet, but meanwhile he does send the Ginyu Force towards that planet, as they would arrive much sooner than him. The Z Fighters would sense 5 power levels heading towards them, as Vegeta just smirks knowing who it is. He and Raditz explain that they are the Ginyu Force and tell the others to stand down, as they will handle them easily. Vegeta and Raditz suppress their power levels heavily to make the Ginyu Force think that they are stronger than the 2 of them. Once they land, they talk all cocky towards Vegeta and Raditz and would still act like this is all easy work. They would play along until they get into a fight with one of the members and show how much stronger they are compared to the entire Ginyu Force. Ginyu is shocked, but before he can even try to swap bodies, he would be taken down by Vegeta with little effort, as he gets a lot of pleasure acting on his revenge against Frieza and his empire. Not long after, Frieza would finally arrive with his army, as he would send Zarbon and Dodoria to the planet, but once they find the Z Fighters, they wouldn't last long at all. Frieza would be notified of the deaths of the Ginyu Force and Zarbon and Dodoria, to his surprise, but he does get angry at this. He goes to the planet and confronts the group. Everyone is still suppressed, so Frieza wouldn't think they are stronger than him. A fight quickly breaks out, with Vegeta fighting Frieza alone at first. Future Trunks would warn Vegeta that they must take Frieza down before he transforms, and this surprises Frieza to hear that a random being knows about this. Frieza blinds Vegeta, then begins transforming into his second form. Frieza thinks this is all he's gonna need, but Vegeta just smirks, powering up slowly, matching with Frieza's form again. This shocks Frieza. Future Trunks gets annoyed, telling the others that Vegeta is just toying with Frieza and is going to allow him to get into his final form, and once he does that, it's over for all of them. Hearing this, Frieza is confused that someone knows about his true power and doesn't want to waste any more time and begins transforming. The others would rush in, but Vegeta would deliberately try to stop them before they can reach Frieza, as Vegeta, still being himself, he wants to fight Frieza at his strongest. Everyone tries to stop him as Goku manages to slip past Vegeta and land a punch on Frieza, but it's too late, as Frieza is at his final form. He flicks Goku away, sending him flying. Future Trunks would be very angry at Vegeta, telling everyone to gang up on Frieza as this is their only chance, but things grow dire rather quickly. Even with everyone using Kaioken and attacking Frieza, he would just hold back less and less until he is stronger than them. Piccolo pushes his limit to use high levels of Kaioken to try to hold Frieza off, while Vegeta and Raditz become great apes to even the playing field. Even if they are much closer in strength to Frieza, due to their huge size and slow speed, they are heavily in a bad advantage compared to Frieza. Goku would use his Monkey Boy form, stacking Kaioken on top of it, and he would be putting up a good fight against Frieza, using Kaioken sparingly. Frieza would be shocked and sees Goku's huge tail and assume that he is a Saiyan as well, but Frieza couldn't be further from the truth. Frieza would cut off the tails of Vegeta and Raditz so they would lose their Ozaru forms, as they would be left injured, as Vegeta would see Goku and Piccolo fighting together, being the strongest to face against Frieza, but even with all their efforts, it's not enough to beat Frieza. Goku could try to use a Spirit Bomb, but Piccolo couldn't hold off Frieza long enough on his own. Vegeta began growing very angry that the fighters who were posing a threat to Frieza weren't the Saiyans. Raditz began blaming Vegeta, saying that they could have beaten him way before he got to his final form. This doesn't help as Vegeta swipes Raditz away, sending him crashing as Vegeta begins to rage out, slamming the ground over and over again until he starts screaming. A bright yellow light erupts from him, blinding everyone and catching their attention. When the light dims, everyone is shocked to see that the legend of the Super Saiyan that Vegeta was talking about was true, as he has become a legendary Super Saiyan himself. With Vegeta's power level being 10 million at base, now with the Super Saiyan transformation boost being a 50 times multiplier, Vegeta's new power level is 500 million, which is much stronger than Frieza, and this becomes a bloodbath. Vegeta takes over the fight and begins fighting Frieza, but focuses more on putting as much pain as he can towards Frieza. He makes Frieza beg. Vegeta wants his revenge more than anything. The others try to talk some sense into Vegeta, but it's no use as Vegeta's anger and cockiness are beginning to mesh. Everyone shows a bit of fear of what they are witnessing. Even Goku. Sensing the power coming from Vegeta, he knows he cannot match that. Frieza, knowing he would lose, does a last-ditch effort, shooting a ki blast at the planet's core to make the planet begin to slowly erupt. Goku would tell Vegeta they must finish Frieza now so they could all leave, but Vegeta does not listen and continues toying with Frieza. Frieza tries his best to survive, thinking if the planet blows up, he will survive, but honestly he won't be that lucky. The planet begins to blow as King Kai warns the others to leave the planet now, and if Vegeta doesn't listen, they will just have to leave him behind. Others don't mind it, but it doesn't sit right with Goku. However, the others would force him to leave as they cannot convince Vegeta to leave. They hop on the ship and head out before the planet explodes. Frieza would try to turn Vegeta's attention to the others leaving him, but Vegeta could not care less. It gets to the point where Frieza can no longer fight back as Vegeta looks down on him and smile, saying his biggest fear ended up coming true. Instead of what Goku did with giving Frieza energy to live, Vegeta would power up a final attack and end Frieza for good. Vegeta flies around the planet and finds one of the space pods used by the Ginyu Force and flees the planet, but due to him being in a rush and his body giving out, he puts random coordinates and escapes the planet as he passes out. Back to the others, they are quite stunned seeing the power Vegeta had and knew if Vegeta went out of line, none of them could challenge that. Even Future Trunks looks at himself, saying that he and others human Z fighters wouldn't be able to do much, however, he still does not want to give up. Goku, Piccolo, and Raditz look at each other, making a silent pact knowing that it may be up to them to grow strong enough to stop Vegeta if it ever comes down to it. They eventually return home and tell the others about what happened. Nappa is shocked to hear that Vegeta became a Super Saiyan and ended Frieza, but was a bit upset that they left him. None of them were sure if he was still alive or not, and not having any Dragon Balls, they can wish Vegeta to return back to Earth, but that is when Raditz reminds Piccolo of his alien race, and how it's possible for them to get more Dragon Balls or at least visit his planet to use them. However, luckily for them, without truly knowing it, they would be in a time of peace for the next few years before another threat would eventually show up. And that's going to leave it off for now. Tell me how y'all think about the fourth part and how it did with the continuation of this What If. After dealing with all the threats, what will our Z fighters do during the next few years until the Buu saga? Where is Vegeta going, and will he ever reunite with the others? With the huge power gap starting to show, how will Goku try to keep up with the Saiyans and any possible future threats? What could happen differently? Leave your thoughts down in the comments down below. I would love to hear them. If y'all are interested and enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be alerted whenever I post another part. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next part. See ya.